Yeah, I'm excited. So today we're going to talk about something that we're all doing. Every one of us. It's not breathing. It's not, those are things we do, yes, but it's about recognizing where we're at very quickly and not necessarily geographically. I think one of the best places to start anything, anytime, no matter if you've tried it before, like I don't know if you've tried things before and then maybe stopped for a while and got back to it or things like that. I do that. And so in that recognizing where we're at in our life, we get, I think, misled a little bit. And I think the misleading is about like a chart that we compare ourselves to or orient ourselves to that tells us if we're earning this much or if we have this much education or if this or if that, that we can say, oh, I qualify now as a decent human being. You know, I'm able to do the things that make it so that I fit into the group. Now, let's say that you're all alone, you're out on a hike, you wanted to venture off, and I want you to consider something first though. This venturing off, why? Why do you venture off, Alan?
I'd say sometimes I get distracted, maybe from outside influence that kind of, maybe there's no one over there, but maybe there's energy over there saying, hey, come over here. And if you're not, I'll say, on your game, it's easily to be curious. It's kind of like, I remember one time not going straight into a cave, but I got to the entrance of it, and that was enough to get duped. And I needed your help, and you let me know why did you even go in there? What was that? And so I think sometimes for me that's a good example, and it helped me realize for future events and things like that, or I can maybe give some suggestions to others if they say, look at that cave. I'm like, well, I made a mistake once and I would advise you not to make the same. So sometimes, yeah, it's just outside influence of even people or energy that sometimes I get drifted maybe the wrong direction.
And then that leaves you feeling like you want to venture off? Like sometimes is that what leads to wanting to venture off somewhere and go on a hike or whatever like that?
Well, not in terms of, sometimes it's just I guess the opposite of that is the energy of wanting to connect with my grandpa or angelics, that it is the alone time on my hikes when I want to go hiking is I want to get away from the influence of people. Okay. So it is, so I guess there's both sides of the spectrum there, is depending on what direction you go, but yeah, for a hike for sure, or spend a long time in the wilderness is a deeper connection, not just with my ancestors, but with myself.
So would you rather do pillow therapy or go on a hike? Now I know. Now we got to define pillow therapy, okay? Because that's that place where you grab that pillow and you put it over your face and you scream and scream and scream and yell and swear and all that, like nobody's gonna hear you. You know, and then there's this part where you can consciously make a decision to go out and connect with nature. But I wonder sometimes if we even get to that place where we're like, I think I'm losing my connection, and I want to go out and rekindle that. Or like me, I was like, I got to get the hell out of here. I got to get out of here. I can't take it, man. I got to go get some peace. So mine was more of a letting things get to me, and then going to wilderness to kind of let off the steam or get away from it, and then I'd come back, and then I'd go back out to wilderness, and then I'd come back. So, and mine were in longer times as far as the space and time that I was out there, rather than just like a day hike. So, you know, now you've done that as well. So let's stay on cue here. So we're kind of talking about, hey, I haven't even told you what the topic is yet. I haven't even said it, but we're kind of leading to it. And this thing about venturing off. Why do we want to remove ourselves from one environment and go to another? A toxic perception, perhaps. I've got to get out of here. I've got to go get some peace. Versus this habitual way of getting out and connecting every day. You know, I began to figure out everywhere I went when I was younger that trouble found me. When I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, trouble found me, or I found trouble. When I lived in Santa Cruz, California, I found trouble. Trouble found me. So what is it? So we're talking about a couple things, wanting to get out of here. This all comes down to like feelings, okay? It comes down to just having these feelings. And so when we're navigating in our day-to-day life and we're not so happy, say, or all ecstatic or so excited about, oh wow, God, this is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, you know, I love it when my babies are sick and I get to stay up all night with them. And, you know, and then, you know, I love that my boss asked me to stay and work even longer. And, you know, I love that I forgot to get gas and ran out of gas too. And, oh, I love those things, you know. So we don't really love them, you know. So we kind of let things say what we're going to feel, rather than, in a way, with some exaggeration there, coming to a place of acceptance, not saying, oh, I love all this, but a place of acceptance. So, you know, remember I talked about that wilderness mindset. So what, and that's not the topic either. So what do you remember, and what is your experience with wilderness mindset as you understood my speaking about it, sharing experiences, versus you going in your own life, striving to get whatever you thought I was talking about, if you don't mind?
Yeah, the wilderness mindset for me is, you know, for having, you know, full-time job and got to, you know, pay the bills and do these things. Like you said, there can be a lot of outside influence when you're doing these things, and it's not, I like how you say you're not just trying to like pretend like, oh, these are all great. It's like, no, sometimes it just downright sucks.
Downright sucks. That's a good way to put it.
It just downright sucks, and it's being real with you. And it also is, to me, no difference in that wilderness mindset is like making a fire. If I try to make a hand drill fire, it's not going to work out every time. You know, it's good to be optimistic and to believe that you can. But so whenever I'm in a meeting that I don't like to be in, whenever I'm in a situation where I feel overwhelmed, I kind of like to go back to sometimes the swell or in a mindset and remember when you tried a bow drill? That didn't work out and you got pretty pissed off. But I wanted to come back to that feeling of understanding and trying to regulate what's going on the inside. Like, why am I even getting upset? It's not achieving anything. So for the wilderness mindset, it's also when you do have a fire like this, and if someone is coming and throwing dirt on it, maybe you're just hanging around the wrong people, or maybe you're around the wrong environment and you need to change locations. So there's all these little indicators that you can go to when you are spending time effectively in the wilderness and with a good teacher, to not just survive, but to thrive in that. And to have a really beautiful mindset like that has always helped me, and it reminds me all the time that I have so much more to learn from the wilderness. It never ends. So for me, that's just a small example of a wilderness mindset, living in a modern wilderness.
Awesome. It really is a way of navigating in our brain and our thought processes, in a way to, as you go out and you have an idea in your mind. So I got this beautiful gift, this piece of pottery here, and so you go out there with a thought in mind to the wilderness, and you know, there's water, there's dirt, and somehow after a lot of processes from one thought of nothing, you can't see it, but you can see it in here. Okay, so what are we seeing in here versus the reality? And then how do we come to those terms about, okay, I'm manipulating. I'm taking something and manipulating it into something else. How can I go in and manipulate my thinking? How can you go in there and you twist things up deliberately in a powerful way, that, because you want effectiveness, okay? You know, he doesn't want to just make some piece of crap pottery, some little, thing that's going to break like the other first trial pieces he made. Every time he'd give me one, it would break. So he'd quit giving me things until he made them thick and harder and better. Okay, yeah. So we just keep going at it. We keep going at it. So, where are you?
Man, in your backyard. Right here.
So if you were to say 4 words that you've heard me say.
Well,
I am right here, right now. That's today's topic. Finally we got to right here, right now, right here, right now, right here, right now, right here, right now. So here's the thing, no matter where you are, no matter what you're thinking, whether it's day, whether it's night, whether it's you're married, whether you're divorced, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're sick, whether you're healthy, it doesn't matter. Where are you? You just say, I'm right here, right now. You don't ever want to be lost. This wilderness mindset, it's a state of being, a state of mind, okay? You train yourself how to make pottery inside. You turn your thoughts into really what you want them to be, okay? And it's not easy right at first, okay? The bow and drill fire, oh my gosh. But talk about learning, talk about being able to apply certain things of when you get frustrated, for example, okay? What do you do with that? Well, you just step back and you say, well, I'm right here, right now. Thank you, frustration, for showing up and reminding me that I'm right here, right now. And really what I want is, I want that piece of pottery. I'm seeing a cup, like something that has a handle I can hold on to and I can drink something from it. So you see this, okay? Or you're seeing like, oh my gosh, I want this relationship, I want my family relationship. I want family unity, or maybe you're saying, oh gosh, I just want inner peace. I just want to feel good. So I remember I was talking about feelings. I was saying, hey, so how do we feel? So here I am, right here, right now. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Good. Yeah,
Go into detail. Good. That's an easy answer. I feel good.
I like.
How do you really feel? What's going on? What do you feel like? And feelings meaning like, use some words maybe like sad, happy, terrified, ecstatic, so excited, whatever any of it is. Just try and throw some verbiage in, because I'm trying to share here a way of dialoguing ourselves powerfully with language that gets us what we want, always in the state of I'm right here, right now. That never changes. Right here, right now. So, how you feel? Right here, right now.
Right here, right now. I do feel a great deal of peace every time I've come here to podcast, and it's a type of environment. But to go into more details, it was the last few days there has been a lot of energy, and I had to work through it. So energies of okay, trying to overcome temptation of, oh, am I feeling lonely? That's interesting. Why am I feeling that? At the workplace, I'm kind of feeling a lot of energy around there, a lot of outside influence, again, of everyone trying to be, I'll use the word optimistic about things, but for some reason I sit there and I see nothingness. But I say, but that's okay. Maybe that's just me moving on to other things. So there's another feeling right there. So that's what I mean by a lot of feelings of the last few days, but it really is sort of overcoming all those and realizing about that outside influence and coming to a wilderness mindset to be like, whoa, actually everything is really beautiful and really peaceful. You just have to kind of walk through a certain terrain to maybe get to that position. It's like walking through a barren desert to get to the creek.
Okay, so with that in mind, how long does it take you about to make a piece like this? How long does it take you from just a thought in your mind to going out, the gathering, the thinking, the wandering?
1 week.
1 week.
Yeah.
Do you think a person could shift their thinking from sadness to effectiveness? I don't want to say happiness, okay, but I just, effectiveness, where we're not really trying to put things out there. Terms nowadays, oh, you're gaslighting me. I didn't even know what that meant, I could kind of imagine, just gas and a lighter, and kaboom, but gee willikers, we're getting a little out of sorts when we're saying that all these people and all these circumstances are causing us to feel a certain way. That's a bunch of crap, okay? So to cut through all this really quick, we want to keep these short, we want to keep them sweet, and we want to keep these podcasts effective right here, right now. How do you feel right here, right now? If you don't feel the way that you want to, you have to get more relentless than whatever thoughts you've been having that are causing this feeling that's going on. And just remember, all those chemicals you're creating every time you think, every time those feelings come about, the more negative the feelings, the more negative the chemicals, the more negative the response in the body, okay? The more positive, the more positive, the more positive. So you've got to get more relentless than the dialogue that's on autopilot. You've got to get more relentless than what the circumstances seem to be around you. You've got to be more. You've got to get above. You have to be with endurance. You have to be with some sort of tenacity. You have to have some staying power. You have to put skin in the game, okay? It's not easy, but can somebody do it in a week, do you think?
I think they could do it a lot faster.
A lot faster? Could you do it like switch right there in a heartbeat?
Yeah.
From rage to just like all of a sudden rage comes up because all of a sudden you're going to get cut off and you've got your kids in the car and all of a sudden somebody cuts in front of you and thank goodness nothing happened. But something sparked. Gaslight. Something sparked this rage, and then we're left to revert that or correct that or remember, everything's good.
Yeah.
So in a heartbeat, huh? Like that, okay. All right, right here, right now, create the feelings you want. Right here, right now. How do you feel right here, right now? Because everywhere you go, no matter what your age is, you're going to be right here, right now. And the key is to take whatever's going on right here, right now, and make it into the most beautiful piece of mental pottery, physical pottery, emotional pottery, spiritual pottery of yourself that you can. Be your best version. Don't let other things out there have a say or dictate, or even have you dare to say, well, you made me, or because of that. No, that's weakness. You want to be empowered, okay? Be authentic with yourself. Be accountable with yourself. Make these decisions. Okay, we'll see you next time.